Music is all around us. It is the universal language. It evokes many feelings and is something to be shared and celebrated. You have found a place where all kinds of music will be celebrated. So welcome. You are tuned in to the Zen Sessions, presented by Here to Zen magazine.
Welcome back to the Zen Sessions, everyone. My guest today is Luke from the band Thunder. They've got this great new album coming out in a little over a week. All the Right Noises, and Luke's joined us to have a chat about it. How you going, Luke?
Not bad. At this ungodly hour in the morning, no good, actually.
Excellent. So let's get straight into it. You know, the album's great. For a little bit here, been listening to it. It's some really awesome blues rock with some nice melody and hooks in there for added value. When did you start writing songs?
I think the writing started probably November 2018, and then the whole process took about 9 months in between, you know, other things we were doing, touring and stuff. So yeah, sort of about over a 9-month period. Okay,
and when you guys go into write, do you set yourself a goal of we need this amount of songs, or is just we're just going to go in with what we've got, see what we come out with, and then thin the herd, so to speak?
Well, how we normally work is basically I'm the only guy in the band that writes. The others are too busy doing other things, like watching the telly. So basically, what happens is I've got a studio at home, as you can tell, and I'll make demos of the songs. I'll send them out, and then how we record is we normally, rather than go in and try and do everything at once, we normally go in and record 6 or 7 3 times. That way, it gives us a chance to stand back in between the sessions, look at it and say, did we get that, or do we need to do that again, or whatever. And it's quite a nice way of working, just because you have that. If you go in and you try and record 15, 16 songs all in one batch, it's quite overwhelming, particularly for me, because I produce the band as well. So it's quite a lot to take on board, where stepping away from it in between, really helps.
And do you think that allows you more concentrated attention to the songs and the melodies and things like that? Definitely, by doing it in the small batches?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you know, it's you know, the kind of energy you can bring to it when you're just kind of doing it in little bits is much greater. And I think also we record better when we're kind of, like I said, going at it in like a series of things, in as much as that in between the sessions, everybody gets a good chance to live with the songs. And that's really important, you know, because there's often that thing with bands where you record and then you go out and you play it live for 3 months and you go, oh God, it's developed, and I wish we'd done that in the studio. And, you know, and I sort of always think it's best if you can get ahead of that and actually record it in its best light, then it's good.
Sure. And you mentioned you also produce the album. So do you ever find it difficult changing the hats from the writer, the performer, and the producer?
No, not too bad. Like I said, it's another advantage about doing it in 3 sessions is that it gives me the chance to go away and put the producer hat on when I'm thinking about it after the event. But you know, the demos that I do at home are quite detailed, so I try and get most of the kind of arrangement things and all those kind of issues done. And because the band have been together 30 odd years, you know, we all know each other very well. I know how they all play, and I know how Danny sings very well. So it's kind of you know, there aren't normally any issues about, oh, I don't want to play it that way, or I don't see it that way, because you know, we all know what each other does, and that really helps.
Yeah, sure. And you've had Mike Fraser mix the album, and you know, the resume speaks for itself. What do you think that he brought in mix-wise for the album?
Well, what Mike always does, I mean, we worked with him on our first album, and other things in between. So he's somebody we know very well, and more to the point, he knows us very well. So he knows what the band do, and his mixing kind of interprets what we do perfectly. I think he gets the kind of all the sort of nuances in the band and understands it. And you know, when you've been been through the process of making X albums with somebody, you get to know each other very well. And so, you know, I mean, it's quite worrying sending your album off to the other side of the world to get it mixed and not being there, but not with phrase, because you know what you're going to get, and it's always going to be right.
Okay, great. And thinking of the songs on the album, was there any in particular that changed the most from inception to finished product?
Not particularly. I mean, I think the song that does stand out for me, I suppose, is Destruction, which is the second track, and that has because I don't think we've ever done anything quite that heavy before. And normally with Thunder, the chorus or the kind of main point of the song is a kind of melodic kind of vocal structure, but on Destruction, it's just a huge guitar riff, which Danny's vocal kind of works around. And it's got this kind of light and shade thing. It's even got soulful girl backing vocals on the play out. So it's a mix, it's an interesting mixture of things, but it's got great dynamics from quiet to loud. And yeah, it's quite different from anything we've done before. So that sort of was a standout track for me. And yeah, there was a few that stand out, but that one in particular.
Right. And the LP version of the album's got a little bit of a special touch with the artwork. Can you tell me a bit more about that?
Okay, so the artwork, as the album's called All the Right Noises, we were kind of looking for some sort of inspiration. And I just Googled bizarre musical instruments to find something weird that made a noise. And up came the sculpture that's on the front of the album. And turns out it's sort of 3 meters high. It's made of pipes, which are all tuned like flutes. There it is, folks. And each one of those pipes that makes it up plays music on it. It's on top of a hill up in the north of England where it's really, really windy. It looks down over a small town called Burnley. And when you stand next to it, it makes this kind of weird, ghostly whine. And it's just a very cool thing. And when I saw pictures of it straight away, it reminded me of the kind of artwork or kind of sleeve you would find on anything that had been worked on by Hypnosis. So Dark Side of the Moon, Houses of the Holy, Zeppelin. And the main guy from Hypnosis, Storm Thorgerson, had done 2 of our previous album sleeves and was quite a good mate. He passed away a few years ago, unfortunately. But I thought it'd be the sort of thing that he'd approve of. Yeah, so we trotted off up to Burnley and photographed it at 3 o'clock in the morning, actually, is the cover shot. It was bloody cold, but worth it because it looks great. I think it looks really cool.
It's really good, yeah. Now, we're a week away from the album. Do you ever sort of have that pre-release jitter, or you want to get it straight out? It's done, just put it out there?
Well, because of COVID, I mean, it's already been delayed 6 months, so it's kind of it's coming out at last, So it's just a relief to get it out there. I mean, it's obviously it's been a very strange year for all musicians, no touring and not playing, so you tend to kind of over focus on things, I guess, a little. But no, I'm just glad it's coming out because we're proud of it as an album. We're really pleased with it, so I just can't wait for other people to hear it. Really
fantastic. And when it comes to releasing albums, the band, as you said, in 3rd decade, what's more important, sales or consistency for you?
Oh my God. Well, I think in the process of putting the albums together and making the albums, I don't think we're not thinking about anything other than trying to make the best record we can. So I think just making doing the best art, doing the best work you can. That's all you can really worry about. I mean, sales are out of our control. Once it's out there, if people like it, they'll buy it, and if they don't, they won't. And there's nothing we can do about that. So
yeah,
we just got to focus on the things that we can affect and hope people like it.
Perfect. And the band has actually gone on a few hiatuses over the years. Now, have you found when you've come back from those, there's been a different hunger in the band and the break has done you good?
Yeah, I mean, we're very lucky in as much that the band is, we're very, very good friends. And whenever we've stopped, it's never been because somebody's run off with somebody's wife or someone's nicked the money. It's not as rock and roll as that. It's normally because it's like somebody wants to try something else. Or it's a time in someone's life where they want to have a go at something else. And so every time, I mean, it's just an interesting thing. Every time we have stopped, we've all gone off and done different things. But yeah, when you come back to it, there's no doubt about it. You have a kind of an energy, and sometimes when you're very wrapped up in something, it's hard to see it for what it is. You step away for a little while and you can see it. And I mean, it's definitely true that whenever we have got back together, there's always been this kind of tremendous momentum. And it's a good thing to do. Maybe we should split up more often. Who knows?
Well, I just keep making the album that you've made now. It's great. Natural progression from that. It'd be wonderful. And as I said, 3rd decade, what's the biggest lesson you've learnt in the music industry?
I'm asked that quite a lot. And the thing I always say to people who are thinking about going into it is this. be prepared to be disappointed. I know that's not very cool, but you know, what this business teaches you is that you will never ever get exactly what you want. Things will never go exactly the way you plan them. So you have to be determined and philosophical about it, because it is a weird business. It's not a meritocracy. Some people can be successful with no talent, and there's other people who've got lots of talent who never see the light of day. So you just got to keep your head down, keep doing what you do, and hope that you're fortunate enough, as we have been, to be able to make a living at it.
And you've got your online special coming up next week. So how are you going to divide songs from the new album and songs from the past for the set?
That is a very good question. We already filmed it. We've done quite a lot of the new album, most of it, in fact. And we've thrown a couple of oldies in there as well, because obviously it's to promote the new album, so it had to be kind of biased that way slightly. But there's some oldies in there as well. So hopefully it'll be something for everybody. It's great fun to do it. We even had members of our fan club join us for a little while via Zoom. That was very weird. We had these huge screens up around the walls, and all these faces looking at us. So they could all see us, we could see them, but we couldn't hear them. It was really weird. We could see them all jumping up and down in their living room and stuff. So it was kind of an interesting experience, but it made us at least feel like there was an audience there slightly, you know.
Sure. Now, I want you to think about the history. If you had to pick one Thunder song to be remembered for, what would it be and why?
Blimey. That's just, that's hard. Okay, well, I'm here to plug a new album, so I will say something from the new album. One song to be remembered by, I'd probably go with, Last One Out, Turn Off the Lights, which is the opening track of the album. I just think that says pretty much everything about, Thunder's kind of up-tempo rock and roll and what we do. So yeah,
Yeah, sure. And we're at the end of our time for today. So any final words for all your friends in Australia?
Well, hello to both of you. Just joking. We've not been to Australia enough, or we've only been once, so that is not enough. So hopefully, when all this bloody COVID nonsense is out the way, we'll be able to jump on a plane and come down and play, because on the one trip we did come down, it was really enjoyable. And we were kind of whisked from pillar to post and didn't really see much of the country. But I'd really like to spend a bit of time there. My brother actually lives in Sydney. We saw each other briefly for 5 minutes. It was all a bit of a rush. So I'd like to come down and spend a bit more time there and see a bit more of it, because the bit I did see was fantastic. And, in the meantime, anybody out there in Australia that's interested in Thunder, I think you'll probably really enjoy this album. So tune into the TV special next weekend and check it out.
Perfect, Luke. Thanks so much for joining us on the Zen Sessions. We hopefully will see you maybe 2022.
Let's hope so, Andrew. Let's hope so.
See you, mate. Thank you.
Care,
mate.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Zen Sessions presented by Here to Zen magazine. If you are listening to us on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button. If you are listening on one of the podcast platforms, please subscribe there. And don't forget to follow Here to Zen magazine on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.